Some of the news which is coming out at the moment is that Gary Lineker thought he had a special arrangement with Tim Davie so that he could in fact tweet whatever political views he wanted. And it may simply be that Tim Davie had not made it clear that his upgrade of the social media rules had not been communicated and was supposed to be fully embracing Gary Lineker's exception as well. It may be. Because, of course, there was fuss before Christmas about Gary Lineker expressing opinions. But looking at the more central issue of what that opinion was. Now, I know that in the past I've said that I didn't agree entirely with Gary Lineker, that I thought that the language which was being used by Suella Braverman was the language of the 1930s in general, that this was language we could have heard in the UK as well as in Germany. But it is about escalation, number one. And number two, of course, Gary Lineker didn't use the word Nazi. He didn't draw a parallel between Suella Braverman and the Nazi regime, and certainly not the Holocaust. But Joan Salter did. Joan Salter, the person who escaped the Holocaust, did draw that analogy. And she directly asked Suella Braverman, and Suella Braverman failed absolutely to answer. And so I think we have to be really careful, and we have to see Gary Lineker's comment within the orbit of the comment which was ignored by Joan Salter. I think it's telling that when a footballer makes a comment, the Home Secretary pays attention. When a similar comment is made in her own constituency by a lady who has escaped the Holocaust, she goes off on one and talks about her family. And she talks sort of so much rot about her family. It's like what religion is Sajid Javid? Because I thought he'd said that that the only religion in his home was Christianity. But then when he needed to, he started defending Islam and saying that as a Muslim, it just seems to me that this front bench is whatever it wants it to be at the time when it's convenient, that these people are acquiring a background as convenience dictates. And that's a disturbing way to behave. It's rather like somebody who might edit their diary for publication. Who would do that? Who on earth would do that? Or who might give all their correspondence to a journalist to sift through on the understanding that journalist would never betray that that trust and pass all those messages on to the nation. It's extraordinary. So, of course, there is Godwin's law, which says we mustn't make a link between the present day and Nazi Germany because it cheapens the debate. But Joan Salter did. And Gary Lineker only did by a vague allusion. And I think the rhetoric of Suella Braverman is so extreme when she talks about invasion. She is really using the language of the BMP, the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis. And it's very easy to see how that language can escalate to something so much worse. We have this drawbridge mentality where the people who have got here, the Suella Bravermans, so many individuals who have already, so many of us are immigrants or are first generation, second generation immigrants. I know I am. And why should we draw up that drawbridge and say no more when this country has been so good to us? Drawbridge mentality. Can we say that our grandparents, great-grandparents came here through entirely legal routes? Or can we say that they came here and were accepted, assimilated, even though the routes were not entirely legal? Those legal routes don't exist anymore. Those legal channels don't exist. And you can say, oh yeah, you can come here if you're a translator from Afghanistan. No, you can't. If you could, they'd be here. And those few who are here are not fully processed. They're still stuck in hotels. Their life is in limbo. We are not dealing well with this problem because this problem is beyond us. And the divisive language is not a way forward. Rhetoric will not solve this problem. All rhetoric will do is to identify people with a sociopathic psyche, people who might go to bed at night and dream of persecuting the more vulnerable in our society, sending them to Rwanda. Go to Rwanda! To Rwanda! Invader! Why? I don't know anybody who dreams of somebody else's hurt. I don't know of people who have such pleasure at other people's misfortune. And yet somebody who claims to have such dreams, not the great dreams of great speeches, I have a dream, I have a dream. No, Suella Braverman's dream is sordid. It's the sort of dream that you put on the inside of a magazine that you would secrete on the top shelf of W.H. Smith's. It's sordid. It's embarrassing. It's scurrilous. And this person is running our country. I'm deeply ashamed.